Before I started doing videos on YouTube and then subsequently TikTok, I was in the process of writing a book. This is a book about San Francisco and tagging is included in one of the chapters. But during the time that I was writing this book, I took a lot of time to just think about my experiences in the city and think about the people that I grew up with. And I came to realize something. A lot of us were children of conflict. First and foremost, I can say a lot of people that I knew, a lot of my friends all started writing because of a writer named Dulk. Dulk is Cambodian and shout out to him, and a lot of people that I grew up with were also Cambodian as well. And in terms of the people I grew up with a lot of people from Mexico, I grew up with a lot of people from El Salvador, from Nicaragua, from Palestine, from Nigeria, and the Philippines. Mexico, when I was a kid, was going through a period of political and economic turmoil, and it's currently in a period of armed conflict. But every other country that I named either had an insurgency or a full-blown war going on when I was a kid. And I'm also included in this because I'm the son of somebody who fought in Northern Ireland. And we all seem to share something in common that we didn't understand, and that's because of our parents' experiences facing war, fighting in war, being affected by war, and then leaving their home countries and coming here and have those things replay in their heads every single day. So as I talked about in the last episode, a lot of us were trying to be out of the house. A lot of us wanted to be out in the streets with other people and other people that made sense to us. And for some of us, myself included, we came to be directly affected by our parents' war experience. And the abuse that we suffered and the trauma that we incurred shaped our worldview, and it shaped how we dealt with other people. In topic 1, I talked about fools being out there on the jack move, victimizing other taggers. And some of these kids were either born in some of these countries or had parents from these countries that were experiencing warfare. And you don't get to be a hardened, callous person without going through a lot of abuse, without being beat on, or born with something that limits your ability to have empathy. And the fact that a lot of us were like this as 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, we're very callous people, we're very disrespectful people, and at times very violent people, definitely correlates to our parents' experiences in warfare. And while warfare is obviously an awful experience and it's a traumatizing experience, I didn't know what some of my friends' parents had been through. And I remember going over to a fellow tagger's house in 1997. His father was completely missing, so who knows where he was from or what was up with him. But his mom was there and she was lying down on the couch, and while her eyes were awake, she was functionally comatose. She had no reaction to my friend coming home, and she just stared at the wall blankly and didn't say anything to him as the TV ran. And to him, this was fairly normal. He just walked right by his mom, he went in his room, he got some markers, and we left. And at the time, I didn't know what was up with her, but I can tell you now, that was a woman that was incredibly depressed. She was from one of these countries that I named, and when it came to the Cambodian kids and their parents in particular, I had absolutely no idea what they had been through. Sometimes when I would see some of these kids' parents around, especially in Holly Courts, these people would be very happy to see us. They'd always be smiling, they'd wave at us, and they'd say hi. And we had no idea that some of these people could have been child soldiers, they could have been cannibals, they could have been people that had been shot at a million different times, and they would never convey any of this to us. But when you're in your own house, these kind of walls that we put up and these kind of social performances that we do fade away. And God only knows what they were going through and what my friends were going through as a consequence.